Welcome, everybody. Welcome to day 3. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening, depending on where you're joining from. Wow, it's the third day of the induction. We've come this far. I mean, it has been an engaging time so far. Let me see, signs if you can hear me. Put something in the Q&A, channel to say, how has the last 2 days been for you? How's the last 2 days been? You can hear me. Okay, I can see our signs. How has the last 2 days been? It's day 3. You've come this far. Congratulations. Let me start with that. It's good to see. It's good to see you all here this morning. Okay. Good morning. Let's see everybody. All right. Let's wait for like another 2 minutes. Before we commence the session. I can see a lot of us are joining right now. Okay. So that we could get the best of the session. So yes, let me see what we're saying. How's the session been? Good morning to you, Shason. Priscilla says has been insightful. Tosin says has been refreshing. Monica says it's been very informative. Olushola says it's been awesome. Oh, Erasmus says he wasn't able to join the first day, but yesterday was eye-opening and awesome. It's good to see this awesome feedback. Okay, you enjoyed the session yesterday with Mambuya. It was excellent. You learned a lot about cloud and data. Looking forward to today. That's good. You really should look forward to today because we have an amazing session already curated for you to enjoy today. Feel free to, ask your questions, listen, get as much as you can. Because like I said earlier, it is the beginning of your journey. And, for some of us that were asking, oh, when is the session actually starting? It has started. The last 2 days has been very interesting, engaging, and, it is very important to your learning journey of the Zero to Techie program. All right, so that we can take, enjoy, fully what we have today. I will, be handing over the faculty lead, Blessing, to take us on, technical foundations, 10,000 feet. Hi, Blessing, can you hear me?
I believe I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic.
All right.
Right. Good morning, everyone. It's very good to see you. It is morning right where I am. And if it's not morning where you are, right, good, whatever time of the day it is. Um, I heard yesterday was fantastic. I wasn't there, and I missed being there. So I'm glad I'm here today, and I'm kicking off the session today. Again, as I tend to always do, we're gonna have a chat. And hopefully I don't end up getting a name about that at the end of this program. I'm worried someone would name me Mr. Chat. But that for me is productive. When I talk to you and you talk to me, I get to know what sort of things you're looking at. So raise your hands on the Q&A, the comment section for those of you that were with me on the first day where the real things happen, right? I'll be taking as much as I can, and Bolanle, please keep an eye so we can get those questions answered. So once again, I'm Blessing, and today I'll be talking about technical foundations, ever so briefly if I can, and then chat with you about what you think. Because one of the things I want to know this morning would be, what do you think are the things that are holding you back from going on this program? Okay, so if you close your eye for a second and you say to yourself, I am a cloud engineer, or you say to yourself, I am a data engineer. So there's a voice in your head that is kind of speaking back to you and going, nah, you're not. Okay. What I want you to do is to ask that voice, why do you say so? Why do you think I'm not a cloud engineer? Right? Why do you think I'm not a data engineer? And because that voice likes to speak, It's going to say to you, oh, because of this, because of that, because of X, Y, Z, right? So every of those because of that voice is telling you is what I want to chat about. I want you to invite me into that private space of yours where that voice is saying to you, nah, you can't be a cloud engineer because of this and that. Those this and that is what I'm interested in today. Okay. But let me just briefly cover some technical foundations and then we have that chat. So I've just putting a few things down on the board. And when we started doing this program, I took myself back to when I thought about the curriculum. Okay. And the first thing I said to myself was, what are some of the most basic things that we take for granted in the industry? Now, if I pick one of these up and put it on the screen and say, what is that? Most of you will say, oh, that's the mouse. Okay. Or more specifically, a wireless mouse, right? Things like this, we take for granted and we go, yeah, we know what that is. Do you really? What is your technical foundation like generally? A lot of you today, you use laptops, you use phones, iPhone 50s and 30s, whatnot. But how grounded is your foundation? What are some of the key terms in computing? Do you know them? Right? If I even ask you what is computing, what is a computer, right? Garbage in, garbage out, all those sort of things we used to talk about. What's a keyboard? What's a processor? Do you know what all those things mean? Do you really, really know? Can you explain it to someone else? This is how far back we go to start. And you got to be honest with yourself. Knowledge is building blocks. One of the best we have in the company spoke to you yesterday, I believe, about what we call reinforced learning. Okay. Reinforced learning works like building a house. You got to get the foundations right. And then you build on top of that foundation, a block after block after block after block. So you're coming on board this program, you need to get yourself some form of honesty. I'll tell you a story. Back in the days when I used to struggle with mathematics, and my teacher said to me, why don't you go back to Lacombs? Very few people will know what that is, right? But these are basic elementary maths. And we all went back there and we started learning it from the basics. What is 1 plus 1? And we gradually went all the way from those basics to ordinary differential equations. For some of you that know what that would be, you build them block on block. What components do you have within a PC? Do you know what the mouse is, what the keyboard is? Do you know what the screen is? If I say, oh, I have 2 or 3 screens in front of me, okay, I'm doing a screen share, I'm extending my desktop into multiple screens. Am I saying jargons or do you understand what I'm saying? Then you go from there to the operating system that runs within the laptop that you're talking about, right? Windows, Unix, Linux, Macintosh, or what you call Mac today. There are basically just 2 of them, really, Windows and Unix, and every other thing is a variation of that. Do you understand what an operating system is? Do you understand why you need it? Do you understand how it works? Okay. If you understand what they are, over and above the operating system, you put applications on them. Microsoft Word, right? Microsoft Excel, okay? PDF, Adobe, PageMaker, CorelDRAW, all of the applications you probably know and love, okay? Do you understand how those applications leverage the operating systems to give you the services that are giving you? So we're still within your one small box, your one small location. We've got the applications, right? You now move from there to a specific application that make the world so exciting today. A group of apps we call browsers. You know your Firefox, you know your Chrome, your Safari, your Opera, okay, your Brave, your Epic, so many of them. Your Microsoft Edge, not to forget that. How much do you understand about browsers? Okay, some people basically always go, oh, I just open Chrome. Yeah, Chrome is not the only browser in existence, right? But what's so beautiful about browsers is they open up a window to us. You're all looking at me and taking this session today from the comfort of a browser. Okay, give me thumbs up if you're on a Chrome browser, please. See thumbs up. I see hands being raised. Ah, okay. Yeah, there is a thumbs up button. Wow. Oh, goodness. Chrome family. Well done. I see you all. All right. All right. Thanks to Chrome people. Can you give me a clap if you are on Firefox? People on Firefox? Let's have a clap if you're on Firefox. Okay, very few. It's like I think Chrome has taken over the world, right? Few people on Firefox. Okay, I see that 1, 2, 3. Yeah, about 5, 10. Yeah, 10 of you on Firefox. Fantastic. Who is on Microsoft Edge? Right? Can I see thumbs up now for Microsoft Edge? Ooh, oh, okay. It was taking a while to get here. I was worried. Right. So all sort of browsers across the spectrum. But what makes them so special is they've opened up a window to us, a certain window called the internet. The internet itself began as a project in the military, in the US Department for Advanced Research Project Agency, the DARPA. It was meant for military use, okay? But over time, it's been opened up to everyone. And today, there is no limit over what you can do on the internet, okay? Now you've gotten this far. Almost everything gets done on the internet. But then, how does the internet work? The word net is specific there. It stands for network. So, internet is really a short form of internetworking. Okay. So, for you to be able to see me, hear me, give me those thumbs up and claps, right? Networking is happening in the background. As the sound of my voice travels out of my mouth through to my headset, it travels over a network. There is a protocol. What is a protocol? In computing, we say protocol defines the way that two things talk together. Okay? I've got a pen in my hand, I've got a board behind me. Protocol would determine that I have to open up my pen and touch my board for something to appear on it. So there is a protocol that defines how my voice travels over the air all the way to the receiver on my laptop, and from the receiver on my laptop all through to my network, and then flies off the internet and gets to you. Over voice, that protocol is called UDP. Okay? There is another protocol called TCP, which is allowing you to see my screen, the slide that is in front of you. You're seeing that over a TCP protocol. Networking. So if you are going to go into cloud computing, a lot of us jump up and go, yeah, I'm going to learn networking, right? And then I'm going to learn all these great programming languages and stuff, right? You need to go backwards a little bit. Where did we start from? The basic terms, the components, the mouse, the keyboard, the screens, the operating systems, Windows, Linux, whatnot, Unix, the applications, the OS, right? And the browsers. And we got to networking. Of course, you're going to throw programming into that mix. Programming in itself isn't foundational of itself. It's foundational to something else. But before you can start to program, you need to have basic understanding of how your operating system works. Because essentially what you're doing when you write a program is giving instructions through the operating system. So there's a foundation before a foundation. So putting all of this together as I'm wrapping this up, whereabouts are you in this spectrum of concept I've put out there? Or essentially, how is your technical foundation? What do you know? What do you not know? What are you going to go back home and say, I will work on and I'll build on top of in preparation for the program I'm about to embark on? It is rather important because a lot of this is going to be self-directed learning. And I think you also talked about accountability partners yesterday, right? Self-directed learning. And if you're lucky enough, you have one or two accountability partners kind of urging you on to keep motivated and learn. But because it's self-directed learning, I'm not going to always be in your ears every day explaining things you don't understand. This is why these foundations are important. You need to get that honesty with yourself and build on some of the things that you might have taken for granted today. Some of these things, we would introduce them to you as you enter into module 1, which covers the basics. And I know, excuse me, please, some of us didn't attend the first day session where I covered the things that you do in module one, right? Let me recap them again for you. In module one, just bear with me a second while my PC loads up the concepts. In module one, it's all about the basics. Some of the things I've mentioned here, we'll get them across to you. Basics, fundamental, foundations. Those were the three things I mentioned in module one. Basics, fundamentals, foundations. So some of them will strive to get across to you. We can't cover every single thing, but we'll give you the resources to go and build those foundations for yourself. But I kid you not, if you don't get grounded in these foundations that we try to build for you, by the time you get to module 3, 4, you will start to feel the drag. When you read something and you don't understand because you needed something from previous to understand that, you start to feel that drag. You start to feel demotivated. Yeah, we do try to pick you up and carry you along, but remember, it is what you put into this program that you get back from the program. So tell me, I gave you something to think about earlier when we started. I want to know what has come to your mind. I'm going to scroll down all the way to hear this. Someone says, Maurice is saying, hey, this way story behind internet stressed me during my primary exams. It shouldn't have. I love that story. If I ever get the chance, I don't think I've ever gotten the chance in about 10 years to tell people the story of the internet. But probably I'll do it on this cohort. It's joyous and lovely. You would love it. How it all started in the military before we got the triple W, the World Wide Web. People like Tim Berners-Lee that made things super. The first Mosaic browser. Got story for another day. But we'll move on. Thank you, Maurice. Bob is asking, what's the difference between a protocol and an algorithm? A protocol, okay, is written using an algorithm in itself. So the basic thing to go back to there is the algorithm. What is an algorithm, Bob? An algorithm itself tells you how to achieve a specific thing step by step. So if I were to ask you to give me an algorithm to make my favorite food, you probably say to me, step one, buy these ingredients. Step two, measure this quantity. Step three, put it into a pot. Step four, light the fire. That's an algorithm. So when you write protocols, right, they are written using the same concept. Okay. A protocol for communication between two devices might say, step one, this device should go on this frequency. The other device should go on the same frequency. Step two, this device should send a signal to the other device saying, I want to connect to you. Step three, the other device should send a signal back going, yes, you can connect to me, and so on and so forth. So protocols are almost written out in the language or in the format of an algorithm. But an algorithm itself is used in several areas, not just for protocols. An algorithm basically just gives you steps on how to achieve a particular thing. Okay. Scrolling further down, Olusola is saying, or Olushola, sorry, saying, for me, I wish I could grab everything at once and become a data or cloud engineer today. I often run out of patience to learn, looking at how long it would take me to do it. So I'm going to get you into the matrix, Olushola, and you're going to just upload it into your brain. And I promise you tomorrow, nah, that's not going to happen. Okay. Nothing good comes that easy. So we are going to work on this together, right? Some of us will not have the same level of patience to learn, right? But we will be there to encourage you. It is the best we can do. We'll be giving up time and materials and resources to help you do it. Okay. Just try. Okay. Bring in that patience. Don't run out of it. We'll need it. Okay. Someone was saying they can't hear anything. Please, as a general rule, if you're struggling to hear stuff, just try and reconnect. Most times the network is what the problem is where the problem comes from. But I'm pretty sure today my network is stable. Bolanle, how's my network doing today, please? Okay, probably Buddy, but responded to me. Is she still there? Or who is anchoring me today? Can you give me a steer on my network? Okay, I've got some thumbs up there, which tells me network is
Yes,
good.
we can hear you.
Fab, fab. That's good. So pretty much that's it. I've scrolled to the bottom and I can't see any further question apart from the last comment by Oluwatosi, who says I can barely hear him. It's breaking. I do apologize about that, Oluwatosi. And if you can rejoin, I hope you get better. But I want you to talk to me. I want to chat with you guys. Tell me, what are the limits? What foundations you think you're already missing that might hamper you getting on this course and riding it all the way? Talk to me, please. Questions. I'm waiting. Or do you have more? Okay, I can see some scrolls. Bear with me 1 second. Are we getting the foundation materials today? That's Nandi asking. No, you are not getting the the materials today. You're getting the materials when you enroll into the course next week. So after the induction this week, you, as many of you as have done enough to be enrolled in, and by enough, you have to attend all the sessions of the induction. I think that's the rule. Bolanle might need to correct me on that. But as many as have done well to do that, you'll be enrolled into the course from next week. And we'll kick off module 1. That's when you're going to get the materials out to yourself. Okay? I have zero foundation, and that's a DME. Yes, you are the person we're looking for. Not a problem if you have zero foundation. Okay. However, like I said, when we release those materials to you, you are going to put in the work of quickly, ever so quickly building those foundations. Unless you do that, you struggle as you go further. So please, you're welcome. We're happy to have you. I run, not just me, members of the faculty run live sessions where they kind of try to get us grounded in this foundation basics. But you have to do a lot of the reading. Okay? I'm going to do this, right? I've never done this one before, but I'm going to do this. Okay? I'm going to give you guys one to just go and play with. Windows basic skills. Okay? As soon as I found it, I'll put a link in the chat window. It's a free course on the internet, open to everybody. Go and play with it. Brush up on your Windows. A lot of people kind of tend to think, oh, but I know Windows already. I can click, I can move the mouse. Do you? I end up always saying, do you? But pardon me, I like to question things, right? Here's a link for you. No registration needed on that. But if you want, you can register. But go play with it. Okay? Pasting that across, but it's not traveling across to everyone. I'm not sure if you've gotten it. It might just be that because it's a link, there's restriction. Let me try again. Bolanle, let me check if I can get that link across to them. How many of you have gotten it? Okay,
They should be
seems
able to
like
get the link now, I think.
okay, it seems like some people have got it, but others didn't.
Yes.
Okay, good. Right, fantastic. Now I'll take a few more of the questions. I can see more questions have rushed in. Woo, I love this. It seems to be a delay between when you ask me and when it comes in. Basic programming, according to Sopuruchi. Yeah, basic programming we're going to cover, especially Python. So that you're going to be covered. Programming in Bash and Python, yes, module 1. That's Daniel. We're going to get you Bash in module 1, Python in module 2. Let me see if I got that correct. Yes, correct. So module 1, module 2 will cover that for you. Mathematics and general calculations have always been my problem. That's Kingsley. Same here. I've struggled with it. But good news is you're not going to need so much of the mathematics. Okay. You'll be able to get away with just minimal basic math knowledge on the program. So don't fear about that one, Kingsley. Okay. Samuel is asking about in-depth knowledge on scripting languages like Python, Bash, Shell, module 1, module 2. So we have a full course curated out on both Bash and Python. Okay. Just to be clear, Bash itself runs within the shell. So shell is nothing special. You've got a shell is where it runs, and you can either run the Bash, which is the born again shell, or you can run the C shell or the Z shell. They're just different kinds of slightly different kinds of programming languages you can run in one of those shells. Now, I think Foundation is getting to know data from the start. I couldn't agree more with you, eBay. It is correct. Okay. But that is just where people start from. I like to go far back to the basics, like I said. Go back to your OS, go back to your Windows, go back to your Linux. Do you understand the very, very basics of those? Okay. Um, Maxwell also says zero tech background. And like I said to Adeyemi earlier, you're the one we want. Come along. We'll try and get you on that as long as you can commit to the work. Okay. Scrolling down, foundations of networking and computer language. Module 1 and Module 2. So in Module 1, we'll cover OSI, the 7 layers of the OSI. Okay, application, presentation, what is there again? Networking, transport, data link, physical, and all of that. We'll cover that in Module 1, so you get some good foundation on networking. Now, with data engineering, I'm often taken back by the frameworks. I would like to know what languages we're going to use. Data engineering, Python is your bread and butter. So Erasmus, Python it is. If you want to start building your Python muscles today, go for it. But we'll have that in module 2. Okay. So to put that in context, that will be the 4th week of the program after you resume. The backend engineering foundation due to internet connectivity, that's BAWA. Yes, we may not cover extreme back-end programming or server-side programming on this particular one, but you will get some introductory knowledge to it. Okay. Probably not having a BSc in computer science, I still believe that if you put your mind to do it, then it will happen. Favor, yes, you're absolutely correct. You don't need a BSc in computer science. It's nice if you've got one, well done, but you're not going to need it to be able to be good in this program and in cloud computing generally. So do come along with or without your BSc, you should be fine. Okay. Hopefully, this course will help simplify or help those of us with these challenges grasp and make the best practice out of the course. That's Kingsley. Yes, it will. Okay. But self-directed learning, right? All those things you learned about reinforcement yesterday, positive reinforcement, you're going to need to bring them in. You're going to need to have accountability partners. You're going to need to be accountable to yourself. I love you, right? There are 248 of you on this call. I love you all. But trust me, I cannot love you even a quarter or even a tenth of how much you love yourself. So you are going to practice a lot of, yeah, self-loving on this course. That's how it's going to work out. I have an interest in cloud engineering, but I do not have any technical IT background. Will I still be able to run this program? Oluwaseun, yes, you are the ones we're looking for. Come aboard, you will. And what I've just said applies. Hard work from you is what you need. For me, I believe in understanding the foundations will go a long way in making the work a bit easier in the long run. Olusegun, I agree with you on that. Do we need a Linux background? No, you don't. If you've got it, fantastic. If you don't, we'll build it for you in module 1. Okay, we'll show you enough of what you need to carry on. Okay. In the case of programming for data engineering, I know that data engineers do most of the dirty work in data and do a lot of programming. Are we going to be taking through the basics, programming basics? Victor, right? No, they don't do the dirty work. They do the exciting work. It's all about the mindset, right? Okay. I can either kill an ant, as I was told yesterday by one of my mentors, or I can kill a pest. There are two different things, right? Killing an ant at least admits that I've killed an animal. Killing a pest is kind of painting that animal as a bad one, right? It is no dirty work. It's exciting work, right? Victor, data engineers do some of the most exciting work I have seen. Data is everywhere around us. Since I've been talking to you, I've created so much of it. Data engineers help us bring all of them to a point where they can make sense, to a point where we can start to see the wood for the trees. It's exciting work. And yes, you will be taken through the programming basics that you need. You do Python, you do SQL, you do services on AWS that brings data together, even streaming data. You will love it. So one of the things I got told yesterday is that the project that you're going to do in cohort 6 is already ready. My head exploded. And you've never started. And I got introduced to the project you'll be doing, and I was like, oh my God. So don't mind my excitement. When you get there, you understand why I'm excited. I'll remind you today. So it's top of the hour. My time is up. I would like to answer many, many more questions, but I can't. So I would pick them up and answer them on the chat when I get a chance to. Anchor, is there any specific question you want me to answer, or are we okay to go?
There's no specific question that I want you to answer. I'm sure that there will be opportunity to answer, lots and lots of questions.
So I think we have one of those Q&A sessions, don't we, where we can answer just questions, right?
Yes, we
Okay.
do. So there'll be opportunity to have session, and of course, there's the recap session tomorrow where we run through all we have learned and put people on board. Like I said, if you want to answer all the questions, we'd end up
We'll
spending
be
the
here.
entire week here, and we'll still not answer it all. So this is just an introduction, to get them. They would get asking more questions in the as the induction, as the module commences. Thank you so much, Blessing, for that
Thank you.
session.
I think I'm still holding the house for a second one, am I not?
Yes, you're working with Cosdim and John Toriola
Right.
on the second part of it.
Right. So I wouldn't waste time in introducing me, but I'll introduce John and Cousin. Well, I'll let them still introduce themselves the more if they want. Are they on?
Yes, they are on.
Okay. So both names you're hearing, and they will do an introduction of themselves, are two people that I am extremely, extremely humbled and proud to be working with. Okay. They've come a long way. And different from the other sessions we've been doing, this is the one session where there is going to be a practical demonstration. Okay. And Kosim and John will be working on that with me. So over to yourself, Kosim and John. Can you introduce yourself? And I think let me know how you want us to do this session. If you want to go first, or you want me to go first and then you pick up thereafter, just let me know and we'll go with that. Kosim?
Okay, thank you very much, Blessed. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much, Blessing. Let me just let you people know, Blessing is a superstar. Like I said again, Blessing is a superstar. So if I just getting to know what, I just need to put that out there so that you can get into the mood. You understand what I'm saying? So thanks for the introduction. My name is Kosem Adeni. I'm a data engineer at Secure Intelligence Limited. And with me also today is John Toriola, and John will be walking us through the demo. And while I would be presenting the slides to you to talk about what we have for you today. But before I proceed, I would like to ask one or two questions, not really questions, but like, how have you guys been enjoying the induction so far? How has it been? Let's just get it interactive before we go into what we have. So if you can, please drop your comments in the Q&A. How has it been going so far? What day is this? How many days have you done? How many people have you met? Has it been interesting so far? Omobolanle has not been disturbing you too much, Has Blessing been teaching you interesting things? Because I joined and I was also learning, just like everybody else here. So if you have anything to, say, you could drop it in the Q&A, what you've learned so far. What are you looking at learning? But while that is going on, I'd like to start from here. And that is the point where I talked to you about the fact that I came in through this rank. I came in through this pipeline. I was part of the Cohort 3. Yes, it wasn't as robust as this now. The reason why I'm starting this story like this or starting from here is tech is endless possibilities, right? At the same time, we want you to be able to imagine far and wide. We want you to know that nothing is impossible. So when I decided to switch careers, I started from construction industry, but I had passion for solving real life problems. So that was one of the things that moved me into tech. And I think prior to me coming on board, I didn't have zero, I didn't have any knowledge or any technical skill prior to that time. Like I never even heard about Bash Shell, all those things. I'd never even heard about it before I even came. So, my first what's it called now? My first module, getting there and they started talking about IP addressing and all those things, OSI model. And I'm like, what is all this? What is happening here? Am I sure I'm ready for this? So, but I didn't know anything then. But I kept at it. Like I kept pushing. I believed in myself. And that's the first thing you have to do here now, believing in yourself. The other thing is knowing that nothing is impossible. So the fact that you didn't know some things yesterday does not mean that you don't know it today. And the fact that some people know it more than you now does not mean that you not beat them at it, like going forward. So those things, I want you to hold them down. The other thing is, I'm trying to ignite your mindset here because everything in life is about that positive mindset, not being pessimistic. So when you have the positive mindset and you're ready to learn, trust me, it's going to be hard, but you would overcome. Nothing good comes easy, but you have to be ready to learn from this very onset. So if prior to this time you've not been paying too much attention, or you're feeling like this is going to be tough, or you're feeling, can I do this? I don't know anything. I've never touched this before. I do not use Excel. Trust me, if you put your heart into this and you focus, you'll definitely get to the top. This is one of the highly skilled roles in tech. It's not like maybe data analysis or like um, the other ones that are like sub level to it, because you have to know a whole lot of things, if you get what I'm saying. So what I'm just trying to say is you have to be ready, get your mindset there that yes, I'm ready to work, I'm ready to put in everything, because it's not going to be easy. But if you believe in yourself, you definitely get to it. So today we have a topic before us. Okay, let me quickly check what everybody has been saying. Said we got lots of Amazon. It's been amazing, and I see we got lots of Amazon services. Oh, nice! It's been so great. That's gotten me to be pumped up for the program, ready to get to work. That's what we want actually, for you to, get pumped up and get ready, because it's definitely not going to be easy, but you're going to scale through definitely. Say can't wait to get started. Trust me. Oh, this is day 3. Oh, fine. I've not actually been following. I've not been able to join like the previous sessions. Somebody said I'm very interested in this program, and it has been very interesting so far. Looking forward to begin the course, as I've already started learning cloud computing for a while. I already have cloud certification already. Okay, cool. So this will give you the platform. This platform will give you the ability to cement what you've learned or what you have been learning. Because one thing about cloud engineers or data engineers is the fact that you need to have hands-on experience, like to be able to work on things. That's what distinguishes you from other people. It's not a theoretical field, so you need to know, you solve problems, real life problems here, and use cases. So so this person says join on Tuesday. From the morning session has been super interesting so far. Okay, that's good to know. So far by now, the community is very active, easily accessible, understand what's in depth and what the course are about. Okay, cool. Being new to the field of cloud and data engineering, I feel that the induction session so far has given me a general knowledge of what to do, expect from the course, which has given me a clearer vision of what it means to be a data and cloud engineer. That's great. So I like the fact that what I've been seeing so far is very positive. In case you have friends that also signed up for this, but have not been joining the session, please tell them to join the session. It's not too late now. They can always gain one or two, because when you join sessions like this is where you start forming your, the kind of mindset you're going to carry along, and the passion will be instilled here. So I wish everybody all the very best. Now, to the discussion today, when I started, I said tech is endless possibility, and we want you to start imagining far and wide. We don't want you to limit your thinking. When COVID came, it forced most organizations to start, working remotely. Now, working remotely gave the companies the ability to, maybe save costs, also made life easy for the workers, and all those, beautiful things. But at the same time, there is an issue, or there's nothing in life that has its advantages that doesn't have its own disadvantages. So, and one of those things, the disadvantage now is looking at it from the security perspective. You're working from home, probably on your own laptop or device, and you have the company data and all those things. And security is very key now. A lot of people are trying to, a lot of people are trying to, you have a lot of bad elements out there that are trying to maybe hacking or do something that is wrong with data, and that will cost the company maybe huge amounts of money. So in view of that, you have to look for a way to solve that kind of problem. Now, how do we solve that problem? How do we secure our data while still working remotely? Amazon Workspaces. This is the solution that we have for you today. We're going to be talking about Amazon Workspaces. Can we move to the next slide, please? So I'm going to show you, I'm going to introduce you to Amazon Workspace. We'll talk about the use case, the benefits. Then my colleague John would give you guys a demo of how it works. Okay. Can you please move to the next slide? Okay, so Amazon Workspaces, like I said, is a desktop as service. Now, what is desktop? Desktop is just like your laptop. It's like a laptop in the cloud, right? It's like a laptop in the cloud. So you can't see the screen. My slides aren't moving. Okay. Hello, Omobolanle. They said the slides are not moving. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Is it moving now? Can you see it? It's showing content now. Okay, thanks. So you can move to the next slide now. Thank you. Yeah. Cool. So, like I said, Amazon Workspace is a desktop as service solution. So, desktop as services, you have a desktop. Amazon is offering you a desktop in the cloud, which you pay in return for that service that they are offering. So that's what we call desktop as service solution. So you will have access to work, or you have laptop in a cloud whereby you can do whatever you want to do. And it can be accessed from anywhere in the world. So what that laptop in the cloud does is this: you can do everything you want to do on your own normal laptop initially, or that you would have to now store all the company data, the files, and all these things on your laptop. What if something happens, your laptop is stolen, or different things can happen actually. So that's the Amazon Workspace, like I said, is going to be that solution whereby you can access the laptop in the cloud to do anything that you want. So you don't need, for instance, you have a laptop that is just 4 gig RAM and you want to do a job that requires a 15 gig RAM, maybe it's about video editing, or you need a higher graphics card. Now, if you were to do that, you have to change your laptop. But with Amazon Workspace, all you have to do is, provision those things that you need and you get working in minutes. So those are the advantages. So now we want to move to the use cases for Amazon Workspace. And the first one is remote, definitely. Now, people working remotely use Amazon Workspace because it helps them, secure their data. When you don't go to work, you can access it from your phone, from your laptop, anything at all, anywhere you want to use it. So people use it. People working remotely use Amazon Workspace a lot. Now, bring your own device. Bring your own device is when you work with different companies. Not all companies have the policy of giving you your a laptop. Some say, okay, you have your laptop so that it can help you, flexibility and all that. Now, if you are bringing your own device, the company can provide this kind of platform for you to work on. So they provide this workspace platform for you, and every single thing you want to do on the platform that you're supposed to do on your own laptop normally will be done inside this cloud laptop. So it's going to be very secure. The other thing is disaster recovery. So look at it from this perspective now. Something happens to your system, it breaks down, or you lose the file, or it is wiped out, or your laptop is stolen. What happens? So do you lose all those files that company's data or your work? Where do you start from? So when you have that kind of thing stored in the cloud, it's easy for you. If anything happens anywhere in the world that you are, once you have a laptop, all you have to do is like log in normally the way you log into maybe like your Gmail, or like you use your username and password and you're in and you start doing your work right from where you stopped. So you'll recover on a very fast note and do what is required. The other thing is, when you have temporary workers that want to work for a company, that's one of the use cases too. So for instance, you have a company and you just need, maybe you're building a different application now, whereby customers can start maybe accessing your product through, and you get certain professionals that will work temporarily and are going to be doing all that stuff on your environment. So that kind of case, you can provision the Amazon Workspace for those workers for that short period of time, and once they are done, you delete their their accounts from it. So now let's go into the benefits for Amazon Workspaces. Well, the first one is reduce cost. Like I said, imagine you are using a 3 gig RAM laptop or a 4 gig RAM laptop, and you need more space, or you have just let's say 300 gig ROM now, and you need more space, or you need a graphics card. You want to do something that is way bigger. So ideally, what you'd have done is, let me go and buy additional laptop that I can use for this. But with Amazon Workspace, with AWS Workspace, what you have to just do is just provision that stuff on your workspace, and you pay for it. Is a pay-as-you-go service. So if you use it for just 2 hours, you pay for just 2 hours. If you don't use it at all, you don't pay at all. So it's reduced costs, for you, for companies whereby they have to now buy maybe huge laptops with 44 gig RAM and all those things for all their workers that are working on those things. All you have to do is just provision this for your workers, regardless of any kind of laptop that they are using. They can work from home and they will deliver. Like I said, security. Now, if you're working normally on your your own device, someone else can come to your house and say, oh, I want to copy this movie from you. If you are someone that watches a lot of movie anyways, I want to copy this movie, I want to copy that from you. Can you please give me access to do this or do that? The next thing is maybe they're already copying certain files that they're not supposed to copy, or even certain workers that maybe they are bad and they want to take something from the company's data. So with the workspace, you can't do that. You can't take anything out of the workspace. Everything resides in the workspace. You can't copy, you can't paste. Everything you do is going to reside in the workspace. So it is highly secure. The data there is encrypted and all those things. You can do, you can even go extra layer of security, but I don't want to go into that now because I want to stay on the surface for what we currently have. For flexibility, definitely. Imagine you are, I'm saying imagine all the time because, like I said, tech is all about imagination. Like, you need to be able to imagine far and wide. It is your imagination. And I say this all the time. If somebody tells you tomorrow that if you are in Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, you'll be able to talk to somebody, you'll be able to touch the person in UK with one device in the future, please don't say it's not possible. I'm not saying it has happened, and I'm not saying it can happen, but I'm saying that you can never rule anything out in tech because it's all about the imagination. You can see what is happening in the VR space now. So what I'm just trying to, why I'm saying imagine every time is I want you to always have an imaginative mind whereby you think things outside the box. That's what technology is all about. So imagine you have you want to work, you traveled, or you're somewhere else and you're on somebody's laptop. All you have to do is please your laptop and you log in and you're doing your work, because it just gives you that room, that flexibility. You can scale. Now, scalability is what I've said. If you need higher, higher, what's it called now? Maybe higher size for anything, or you want to give 50 workers, 100 workers, 300 workers, no matter the amount, instead of buying laptops, all of them, you can scale easily using the workspace. Like I said, it has a desktop management. The management part is where I said you can't, copy anything out. You can't do all those things because it is a managed service from AWS. So you don't have any issues. Seamless integration, with different applications that you want to use on it. Performance, that one is going to be a huge one when it comes to AWS, definitely. So your performance level is high because you don't do low key stuff. Global reach, everybody in the world can use it. Everybody in the world, as long as you have internet, you are good to go. And business continuity. So if you're you don't have maybe disaster, you don't have any issue that came up like disaster that you have to cater for, you don't have issues that are hindering you, it's solving all those problems. You don't have security issues, you don't have size issue, you don't have any provisioning issue. So what's that going to do? It's going to make sure that it's going to give you a seamless um a seamless continuity in your business, whereby everything is just working so fine and very perfect. You understand? Sometimes you might be using a laptop that maybe is even going to the end life already. Those things will not happen with AWS Workspace because you can just use it. So I think with this we can move to the next slide. And I think that's where we have the demo. So is John Torola here to wow us this morning? John is my Oga, by the way. So when he comes here, you have to put the respect to his name. You can call him
Yes,
JT as well. Yeah, over to you,
yes,
John.
I'm going to go. Okay. Hello, everyone. Cousin, can you hear me?
I can, John.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is John. I think we still have another opportunity to introduce ourselves properly later in the day, probably the afternoon session. So I'll be walking us through a demo. Actually, as Cousin said earlier, I came in through this through the internship too, and I must be sincere with you, it has actually been very great. The learning curve, it's, you can't imagine it, but stay tuned, you guys will get here. You'll be learning a lot, a whole lot. Okay, now, Cosimo has explained a lot about AWS workspaces. Okay, it seems, yeah, getting the emojis. Seems everyone can hear me properly. Okay, let me quickly share my screen. Okay, now what I just want to do is to walk you through a demo how you create a workspace on AWS. So what's the process like? It's very simple, same as almost every other service AWS has to offer. Now, a moment, please. I'm trying to share my screen. Hello, can everyone see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Go on, John.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, now it's simple. I said it's quite simple. Just go into your AWS account. And now, before you can provision a workspace, you need what's called an active directory. Just now, whenever you are doing something new on AWS, like you want to access a service, what you have to do is use your search bar. Now you can search for any service there, workspace. Now we are working with what now you can see workspaces. So go ahead and click. Okay, now we are on the dashboard that for workspaces. Now, one other thing you need to understand about workspace before you can provision a workspace on AWS, you need what is called an active directory. Now, what's an active directory? An active directory is a way companies register their users, like their staff. Get so let's say the company works on the company gives workspaces to workspace to every of the staff because they are trying to manage security and the likes to the secret the company has. So what the company does is they have directories. You have directory, and in your directory you put users, like that's the name of your staff, like you register them, and then this is the directory. Now you can also search for the directory service, but it's a way to do it. Now this service is presently running in North Virginia. Now the workspace I provisioned earlier is running on island. Now I will show you that, but that's just to let you know that you can actually switch locations, like provision your resources in any part of the world. That's one thing AWS has to offer you. So you create a directory, you get. So you just create a directory, click on create directory. Now I'm actually not going to be creating another directory because I have one directory up already. We'll use that, but let me just show you the process you get. Now you have your simple AD. These are different types of directories you can create. So let's go with AWS manage directory AD. Next. So you can either choose a standard edition or enterprise edition. Standard edition is, as the name implies, standard. Enterprise is probably big organizations. You get something like that. So we'll go for standard edition. Now you name your organization. Let's name our organization Secure Intelligence. I'm not creating this. This is just a walkthrough. So directory DNS name. Now, if you check the DNS, it's actually said there that you can you can have a directory DNS name that is not publicly routable. So you can just use anything here, basically. So let's use workspaces. Can you guys see? Can everyone see me? Workspaces.com.
Yes, we can, John. We can.
Okay. So you add a password. So next, you choose a VPC of your choice. Now, most of these things you are saying, VPC, subnet, and the likes, you will learn everything in this program. So it's a very robust program. Be learning everything. Now, so we won't waste time. Let me now. You can just choose a VPC. We don't have any VPC in this. None. But that's actually the route. Once you are done creating selecting your VPC, then you create your directory. Now let me show you a sample directory I created already. I told you it's not in Northern Virginia, so you use Ireland. The one I created was in Ireland. Okay, so directories. Now you see it pop up now. Now this is the directory I created earlier. Now I told you before you can create a workspace, you need a directory. Now we have a directory. Now let's go back to workspaces. Let's see how a simple walkthrough of creating a workspace. Now we are still in Ireland. Now I have provisioned some workspaces before, just to show you. These are some workspaces we are using in our company. Now you can create a workspace. Now, can you see the first thing it asks is which directory are you using for the workspace? So we are using this directory. That means you must have created your own directory. Now, if you want to add a user to the directory, like the person that will be using the workspace, you create additional user. But I'm going to skip this part. Now, username and the likes, you just put the username of the person, like that your new staff that you are giving the workspace to. Now, I'm going to skip this because I'm a user already. So I'll just use myself. Okay, the previous. So let's next. Let me enter a username. I'm actually not going to be creating the workspace. It's just because I have one already. Now I can skip this part. So the next thing, you have to choose the hardware you want. Are you creating, when Cousin was explaining, he actually explained that it's actually a laptop, like it's a desktop as a service. So you have to choose the hardware you want to use. Are you creating a Linux box or a Windows box? Like, is it Mac? Anything. So this is where you choose the hardware, the software. Is it a graphics PC? You get things like that. Let's go for a Power Pro Windows laptop. Any hardware. So you can choose. Let's choose. We're not creating a Linux box. Yes. Now this is a Windows box. Let's select Windows. Then you go next. We are good. Now, do you want the workspace to auto stop? Probably when your staff or the client is no longer using the workspace. This how you should it be always on, or you want it to auto stop? You can answer that here. And you go next. Next. Then you can review all your settings. Then you create. But I'm not creating because I have one up already. Now, once you create, the laptop, the workspace gets provisioned. Then it takes some time, probably about 20-25 minutes to be fully ready. Now, once it's ready, then you'll be brought back to this page. Now, this is my workspace already provisioned, and this is the one I'll be using. And I have spun it up already. It's already up and running, and this is it. Now this is my workspace. This is a laptop or a desktop in a desktop. Do you understand? So this is the workspace. You can see it's literally almost the same thing because I'm also on AWS in the workspace. But let me just show you. Actually, personally, I use Windows. I use Linux, Ubuntu Linux. But this is a Windows workspace in my Ubuntu Linux laptop. So with this way, your company can actually keep their data because there's a way you configure the security that you won't be able to download things from the workspace into your own personal laptop, and that will actually help secure data. So this is the workspace, fully provisioned. You can access the internet. You can see I was just on Google just now. Let's check secure intelligence. And you see the workspace now there's more to this because we didn't look at the VPC aspect of it. That's what determines the security and the networking aspect of creating a workspace. But this is basically what a workspace is. This is how companies keep their secret from being tampered with. So that's everything you need to know about workspaces. I will hand over back to Cousin. Let him continue from here. Cousin, you can go on from here.
See the man. So you can see what I said is my organa. You can see the things that he's showing you. The magician. That's how he does his magic. So thank you very much, John, for the demo. So like I said, these sessions that you are going through is not here to scare you, and it's not also here to, you can't learn everything in 1 minute. Do you understand? You can't learn everything just now. The main thing is get the idea, let your imagination start running wild. Like, this is are the things that can happen. These are the possibilities. We can do a lot with this kind of service and all that. So it's not like you're supposed to learn it now, then go and practice it at home and try. No. Just take things very calm and cool. You don't have any issues, trust me. You're in the right place to learn, and you'll definitely learn. So I don't know if Blessing wants to step in now, or I should just take some of the comments here now.
Right. Thank you ever so much. I've been watching that keenly, and I finally learned how to use workspaces. Yay! Yeah. So it's hard to believe it, but along with all 287 of you on the call, that's my first demo I'm watching on workspaces. That's how refreshingly honest we are here. So I've learned something as much as you all have learned something. Okay. I'm grateful for the time this morning, and I hope you get a hang of what has been demonstrated to you today. It's all generally in the space of what we refer to as desktop as a service, right? DAAS. So you kind of get access to a machine that is probably equal to or better than, typically should be better than what you already have. You do need a machine to access that machine. So just because you get given a workspace in the cloud, you're not going to kind of just have it invisibly. It won't happen. You need a laptop or a PC to access it. But the point here remains that your access PC, the laptop or the PC used to access workspace, doesn't have to be very powerful, because all the power you need is in the workspace. So we've had scenario where, for example, we're trying to do multimedia packaging. For those of you that have worked in the media in the past, you understand that doing multimedia packaging and transmission requires a lot of compute power, lots of CPU, lots of RAM, and so on. You don't want to buy these kind of machines physically, because if you go out and buy, some of them will cost you not worth of millions of naira, to use the Nigerian currency to buy them. And then if you buy them and then you don't need them anymore, what do? Do you junk them? No, you don't. So things like workspaces will give you the ability to say, okay, I'm going to build up this kind of PC up in the cloud. And then I'll use my small laptop that's 6 GB, 2 GHz CPU, and I'll connect to it. But I know that once I transmit my file into that PC I've built in the cloud, it's got the power to be able to do everything I need to do. Okay, so it's really good. And I think I really like those use cases, especially the BYOD ones we are talking about, where you go to work for a company and you can just bring whatever laptop you've got. And then when you get to the office, you log in, you connect yourself to your virtual desktop in workspaces, and you're able to do everything you want to do. For organizations, it keeps their information secure because they know that you have the authority to log into that workspace and use it. So if they were to say, okay, if a worker was to say, I don't want to work with you again today, all they need to do is cut off that access and all their information remain securely in their own server. So really, really good to learn about things like this, and you find more and more use cases. And I don't know if this is the first demo of the week. Hopefully, we get to see more demos like this when we resume the program and when we get to start to learn. So once again, from me, thank you very, very much to every one of you. And thank you to Kosim and John and Teriola for making this demo session happen. I'll be stepping aside now, so I won't be able to take a lot more questions because I need to join an urgent meeting that has popped up over here on my left. The meeting is actually running. I've just excused myself to chat with you guys. But I will be here in the afternoon session, okay? And we'll probably try and answer as more questions as we're able to. So thank you very much. Back to you, Kosim, John, and Omobolanle.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much. Thank you, Blessing. Thank you, cousin. All right, so I think we'll be taking some of the questions now. So as to take a few questions. I can see some questions here. Someone is saying, I wanted us to answer this. So I wanted to quickly bring it to your notice. Someone said, oh, I was thinking AWS was Amazon Web Services. I didn't know it was Amazon Workspaces.
No, so let me explain what that means. So AWS is Amazon Web Services. Do you understand? Now, this workspace is one of those services inside AWS. So you have multiple services. You have Lambda, you have DynamoDB. The list is endless. So the workspace is a service inside AWS. Yeah. Somebody says no one is answering my question, but I can't see that question. I don't know, Bolanle, if you've seen that. Is from
I can't see. Please put your question again.
Yes, thank you. There's a particular question I would like to answer, Bolanle, if you permit me.
Please proceed.
Okay, thank you. So it's not a question. Somebody is saying something. I would want to shed more light on this because I think I also went through this route. Somebody says, I'm eager to start. I'll be quitting my work to get maximum time for this training. So this is where I'll start this, or let me say how I'm going to attend to this question. Now, this is not my advice. I'm just telling you my own path now, like the path I took. So when I was working in construction, like I said, and I felt like I needed to do more. Like I could do more. I wanted to solve more problems, and I wanted to do more intensive things. So I quit my job, and everybody was like, why construction? That there's money. This one, that one. I said, okay, fine. I understand that there's money, there's this, but there's also fulfillment in life, and there is also what you stand for as a person. Do you get? So I took a bold step, but when you are taking a bold step like that, you need to be ready for the consequences. So that kind of a thing. Now everybody in the family will call you and say, "See, family meeting. Something's wrong with this boy. People have job. And people are still looking for a job. You are leaving your own job. Hey, do you get? Those things will happen." But to answer that kind of question or that kind of scenario now is you have to put in extra effort. So if a typical person is putting 100% effort, you have to put 300 or 500% or even 1000% effort. So I'm going to tell you one very real thing now. So when I left, I was into data analysis. I started from data analysis, and I was learning 10 to 12 hours a day. And I'm not even kidding you now. Every single day when I quit my job, every single day, 10 to 12 hours non-stop. It's even more than that sometimes. I'm always on my system every single day, because I told them at home that give me 1 year. Right? There's nothing, it's worth risking. Just let me risk this 1 year. If I don't get a job in 1 year, then don't worry, I can go back to construction. I mean, I still have the plugs in my construction industry, so no issues. So I said, okay, no problem. Then I started. I was doing all the courses I could do back to back. Like I was getting scholarships on Udacity, do this one, do that one, do this one. Before I finally got into CIL. And guess what? I left my job August. I got sales job August. Exactly 1 year. So nobody could tell me that, oh, why are you doing this? Why? Because you already silenced the doubters. So if you are going to take a bold step, you must take tremendous effort. 12 hours a day is not something that is easy. It takes huge work and effort and focus. Focus is key, because everybody will be like, we are not seeing you, you are not posting on WhatsApp, you are not doing this. But trust me, if you make it tomorrow now, everybody's going to start mentioning you. That guy, we went to the same school together, we went to the same days together. He's my friend, he's this. But if you don't make it in life, nobody's going to mention your name, nobody's going to want to associate with you. So you need to know. I'm answering this question because it's something that I can relate with. I'm not giving you the advice. I'm telling you what me have done now. That when you want to take a bold step, you have to back it up with tremendous effort to be able to silence doubters. So yes, thank you, Bolanle.
Okay, Bolale, I don't know. I'm seeing a question here, so if I can just take one or two.
All right, please proceed.
Okay, some people were complaining that the presentation was the demo was too fast. I'm very sorry. I was on a different screen, so I wasn't seeing the comments and in the Q&A. But the truth is, you will learn everything. You will learn it during the process. This is just like we are just trying to whet your appetite. You will learn this thing. You will learn a lot of it. Now, somebody is asking, what does VPC mean? VPC is a virtual private cloud. It's like a VPN, like you are creating a cloud, like a private cloud in AWS cloud, like a private a cutout of AWS cloud given solely to you. So that's what a VPC is. Now everything you do in that private cloud, you can either make it go out into the internet or be accessible on the internet or not. So that's what a VPC. But as I said earlier, you guys will be learning everything that we all, like Cousin has told you, we all learned it on this on the internship. You will learn everything. Just give your time and your heart to it. You'll be learning a lot. By the time you are done with the internship, you'd have become VPC will become something it will be something you've worked with several times, you get. But just stay on the course and you will be learning a lot. Thanks, sir. Finally,
Okay. John. Sorry, Bolanle. There's one other question. Somebody says, are we only restricted to use Windows laptop or Apple laptop? Can still work. Anything can work. You can provision Mac OS, anything can definitely work as long as it is connected to the internet. Somebody says, I'll be going to NYSC camp in a few weeks. Is there something I could do so as not to hinder my progress? Okay, regarding this, we also have another use case in our company. Like she was doing this, what's it called? She was doing this internship while she was doing NYSC. Now, the only thing you have to do is definitely to make sure that the deadlines, because you have to like finish certain modules, and you also have deadlines to finish them, and there'll be maybe basic requirements like, okay, you must have finished, must have done 5 of these courses before so time. So you just have to pay attention, listen to the information that is going to be passed, and work towards achieving it, and that's all. So once you follow the informations, you listen, and you also act, I think you'll be fine. Okay, all the very best to that person. Okay. Do we have any other question?
Yeah, I saw one question that I want to, take as well. Someone says, are we doing data engineering and cloud engineering as a whole, or it's separate? Because it seems they are connected as far as the induction is concerned. Yes, they are connected. However, you'll be taking it separately so as to allow you to focus on your part. There's so many things that are similar. There's so many things that you're doing together. I think on this call, Kozim is a data engineer. I think John Toriola is a cloud engineer. They get to work together, solve problems together, but there are also few differences. So I don't know if John or Kozim wants to help highlight few of the differences between both specialization.
Okay, if I may, basically at CIL, what will the cloud guys deal with majorly is provisioning the resources. Like, let's say we have a project or a client sent us we are doing something for a client. Now, most of the resources that will be used to achieve the what the client wants, we the cloud guys are the ones that will provision those. Now, the data guys will then work with the resources we've provisioned. Cousin can give more example, but that's the major. That's how the flow goes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, John. So for that one, we'll be having a session in the afternoon where you can ask questions pertaining to roles and this thing in the company, like what does a data engineer do? What does a cloud engineer do? But for what John has said, yes, cloud engineers, they do the provisioning and all that. Then data engineers, we do the work. We work more with Python, like Blessing said, you create pipelines, you design, you make sure you integrate the data with the necessary APIs and all that. I don't want to bore you with that now because we'll be doing a session in the afternoon where you can ask more questions. Because if I start explaining that, trust me, because it's my field and I can take 15 minutes just to explain what data engineering is all about to you. So I think, okay, Bonale wants to say something. I was going to answer one other question.
Okay, I mean, there are a few questions here. I just want us to take a few questions before we wrap up the morning session. Okay, I will take some of the questions because they are general questions. Someone is saying, what is the age limit or education limits for any of these programs? The fact that you're here shows that, there's no age limit. People learn things at different ages. If you want to start learning as a young person, whatever age you currently are, is the commitment, determination, zeal to actually learn. Educational level limits, would advise you have a first degree or you're trying to get one. For us at Secure Intelligence, and I think for most of our partners, it's important that when we want to bring you into the system, a first degree is important to get into the system. However, you can always learn now if you're still probably taking your program and that, okay, I don't have this yet, but I'm about to get it. Still, learn. The knowledge will be very, very essential to you. There's so many things people are asking. Are we going to learn how to build and deploy microservices on cloud technology? Get into the system. Okay, get into the system. The idea of the program is to take you from zero, like zero knowledge, little or zero knowledge, to actually being a techie. For you to be considered a techie. The two people, Kozim and John Toriola, that just finished the presentation, came through this program, and they're already doing what they're doing. So what we can say, you've met some people that started this program earlier this year. You've met later this afternoon, you meet some other people who have successfully completed the program and are currently practicing. So you get to see all the things you can do. I'd advise you just even start the program. Looking at all what are we going to get? What are we going to do? I feel like the past few days have shown you a lot of benefits. Okay, so don't focus on, are we going microservices, this, that. There will be everything you need to actually scale through in your journey. David asked a question I think I should take as well. It says, so if I'm correct, this is an internship program, right? No, it is not an internship program. A lot of people mistake and say, oh, we're interns at CIL. You are not an intern at CIL. If you do pass through the induction phase into the academy, you are just a student at the academy, at the Zero to Techie program academy. It is not an internship program. It is a training program. It trains you from Zero to Techie. It is not a job. There is no, free, there's no money attached or any role or any, CV. Then, basically it is a training program. Okay, not an internship. So Morris is then asking, please, how about internship? Do CIL have a provision for this after the certification? Yes, we do. I think this was communicated day one. Some people, after completing the program, not everyone, some of you after completing the program, I would say, be the top of your class when you graduate. And then some of you will be, giving offer of employment into CIL, and some of you, would also be offered employment from our partners, for some of our partners. So yes, there's that opportunity that will be accessible to everyone. Okay, let me take two more questions rather, and then we'll wrap up the morning session so we can take a break. Victor says, isn't 6 months too small for a lot of work ahead of us? Well, I think I said this earlier, you have to be ready to put in the work. 6 months is not too small to actually put in the work, because you do your own personal research. And I think it was Aki on Monday that told us, with over 14 years experience, he's still learning, he's still growing. The cloud is limitless. The era of technology is still growing. There's so much to learn. With 15 to 20 years experience, people are still taking certifications and learning. So starting your journey in 6 months is not too small. It's how much work you're willing to do and how much time you're willing to commit to it. Okay, Peter, I will say this again. Is this the academy or the induction? This is the induction to be a part of the program in the academy. This is the induction to be a part of the program in the academy. Please, is there any site we can, upskill through scholarship? I don't have that data for you. Let me look at two more questions. I'm trying not to repeat. So if I did not take your question, it's probably because we've answered it earlier in the program. I'm trying to take in the fresh questions. If you were, part of the program since day one, you would have gotten, a lot of answers. You should currently have access to the Slack channel. So please ask questions on your Slack channel. Communicate with your fellow, applicants. Some people have been here since day one, taking it all in. So we do not keep them on the call answering the same thing over again. Ask your questions and you probably will get people to even give you the answers that you need. Then you have your community manager there to also guide you through the journey. Okay, Nancy is saying, can you take cloud engineering and then later data engineering or vice versa? Well, start with the one you want to take. And then I believe at the end of one of the program, you make that decision yourself. Do I want to go back and learn data? Or can I, transfer the skills? I believe you make that decision at that point. But start with one of the parts to actually go forward. All right. Someone says, would there be any test after the induction program elapse? There will be no test after the induction program elapse. Okay, you will just be given there will be no test. There'll be a recap session, which I think is important, especially for those who missed a couple of sessions due to network and other factors. It is compulsory that you attend the recap session as well tomorrow to get a whole holistic view of all the things you've learned, get all your questions answered, and most importantly, there is no test to be a part of it. Just be a part of the induction, participate. And of course, like I said, the platform is so awesome. Thanks to technology, we don't need to write an attendance sheet anyway. The fact that you joined, I can see, we have data on the back end that shows that you joined the program, when you joined, how long you joined, from every detail that we need, we get it from the platform already. So don't worry, just enjoy the induction and you scale through to Module 1. Of course, once you commence Module 1, the work begins. And then your commitment, how much work, effort, practice session, taking your courses will definitely be recorded as well. And that will determine your progress in the academy. All right. I really do not want to take so much time. For those of us talking about having certain challenges like school, like laptop,
This program is very intensive. So please try to understand your time, manage your time properly, decide, make a decision for yourself. Do I want to do this? How long can I dedicate to this? I mean, we've said this severally about ensuring that, you plan, you schedule yourself properly. There's going to be so much learning. It's going to be intensive. We'll try to take everyone along, but it's a fast growing system. If you're not able to continue your progress, you will be dropped off along the line. So decide what you want to do. Be ready to put in the work, the commitments required to actually pull through. We spoke about, getting accountability partners yesterday. We spoke about contextual learning with reinforcement, assignments, all those things from the morning section yesterday was supposed to help you understand how to manage yourself and your community around. All right, we wouldn't want to take so much more of your time. Once again, thank you to everyone that is here today. I know we have so much questions, a lot of questions, but feel free to keep those questions. You get answers in the afternoon, you get some the next day. And if you do not get your answers, not to worry. As you join the journey, I can promise you all your questions will be answered. Thank you very much for another session. It was good having you guys. I want to say a special thank you to Kozim and John for being a part of the morning session, this morning, coming out, taking a few time out of their schedule to be a part of this. Thank you also to Blessing and everyone else on the back end running this. Do enjoy your morning, and we hope to see you in the afternoon. Please join on time so that we can, enjoy the full benefit of the session. Have a very good morning.